Gino's going to make an opening statement. Then we'll players. We'll dismiss them, and that's what it makes it easier for you guys with UConn. Yeah. Okay. Test 1, 2, 3. Test. Just to let you know, the format of this press conference is going to change just because we know there's a lot of demand for Connecticut. Coach Auriemma will make an opening statement. Then we'll have questions for the players. We'll dismiss them. And then Coach Auriemma will remain on the dais for your questions. The locker room will be open. No, once they come out of the locker, once they come down for the interviews here, the clock starts. 30 minutes. UConn's on its way down, Megan. Hey, Coach. Okay, players are on their way down, but why don't we start off first with Coach, if you just want to make a quick opening statement and then start taking questions.
You know, playing in the first round games are it's always the same, pretty much the same script. You know, you're playing a team for the third time, and you know that it's not going to be anything like the first two. It's a brand new game, and so you got to go out and you got to grind it out one possession at a time, one possession at a time. And then we went on a run there, like we've been doing for so many times. And I thought Crystal and Lou and Kia just pretty much put the game out of reach. And once that run happened, then I knew the rest would be fine.
Okay, we have some wireless mics, but we'll take the questions now for the players, and then we'll dismiss them back to the locker room so that you can get questions with them as well for more time.
Crystal, what happened with your ankle, and how do you feel now? And with Gabby going down, is there a scare for the rest of the tournament, or are you guys fine?
With my ankle, it just got landed on, and it's fine. And with Gabby, she'll be fine too.
Please raise your hands if you have any questions, as we have microphone holders.
Crystal, can you just talk about your game? I mean, you looked like you were just really confident out there today shooting the ball. Did you just feel good to start the game?
I think it just came from listening to Coach when he's talking about taking what the defense is giving us on offense.
Crystal, what was it like? You've had minute limitations for forever. It seems like, what was it like in that first half to be out there for 18 minutes and kind of get into a nice rhythm?
I don't think they've really been limitations. It's just been what I've had to deal with. Multiple players have to go through it, and each game is like another. So it's just going out and playing each day.
Ezra, can you talk about the defense, especially in the first half? I think you guys forced 14 of their 17 turnovers in the first half, and obviously that big run at the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter kind of put things away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the guys from out there did a good job of just being really active, playing with their hands up, getting tips, deflections, and that kind of just fueled the spurt that we went on.
Do we have any other questions for the players?
Ezra, they did outscore you guys 34-30 in the second half. I know that's not something you're pleased with, but how do you think the bench players overall did in this game, especially, the kids who were playing for the first time in the postseason?
I think that we could have just done a better job of being more fluid on offense. We work on our offense a lot, and so, when we get different chances to get in the game, we kind of have to just take a deep breath and do what we've been practicing all year. So I think we could have done a better job of executing that.
Any other questions? Thank you, ladies. Questions for Coach Auriemma?
Gino, can you, two parts. First, on an update on Gabby, if you have one. Second, you like to talk about consistency with your team, and this is 13 straight 30-win seasons, 23 out of 25. What kind of, if you can talk about those numbers, or if you're still upset about the two teams that didn't get the 30 wins. But first, a Gabby update.
It's her hip's been bothering her obviously for a long time, and she just tweaked it a little bit on the one defensive possession that we were in, and she could have played, if we didn't have another game for a week maybe, but there's no point in aggravating it a little bit more. So tomorrow it'll be, I'm sure she'll be a little bit sore, but we'll know tomorrow and shoot around, and I'm guessing everything will be fine as far as Gabby's concerned. The consistency, as this season goes on and I keep watching our second halves or our fourth quarters, I start to treasure the 30-win seasons because they're coming to an end.
Gino, over here.
Yeah.
When it comes to Defensive Player of the Year, how much of that is can do and how much of that is want to?
Well, most good defensive players, it always starts with they want to be. Anybody who's a really bad defender, just they want to be. They want to be a bad defender, so they are. And someone who's a really good defender has made a decision at some point in time that they want to be. They want to work hard. They want to do the things that good defenders do. They want to fight through screens. They want to stay in their stance. They want to be in great shape so they never get tired. And that's what Kia does. And she's been like that since the very first day of practice that she came to Connecticut. She's gotten smarter as a defender, so you can always get smarter. But I think without what's inside of you, like I want to, without that, it's impossible to be a great defender. And, we've had some great ones here. And she's certainly as good as anybody we've had.
Gino, you said you had to grind it out against them, but you had 52 at halftime. Was that just a lot of Crystal came out really with a lot of spark? Can you address what she brought to the game in the first half?
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff that happens with our first group, especially, stems from what we do defensively. And it's not a coincidence that when we start subbing and sub a little too much, that our defense breaks down, and then we don't get as many opportunities at the other end. And I don't think we went in at halftime saying if we don't do this and we don't do this and we don't do this, we could lose the game. I thought we knew we were going to win at halftime. So sometimes I think kids are a little more, there isn't that same sense of urgency when you're up a lot. especially when you know you've got 3 games in 3 days potentially. So yeah, that second half wasn't any fun to watch, that's for sure.
Hey, Gino, can you talk about the rebounding effort and what impact that had on this game?
Well, we talked a little bit about that. One of the things that makes us a good team is we make a lot of shots. And sometimes when you have a team that makes a lot of shots, you end up with not so great an offensive rebounding team because guys just assume it's going in, so they run back on defense. So it's something you have to really harp on and stress on that end of it. And offensive rebounding is just the same thing as defensive players. Guys just want to be good offensive rebounders. They look at it as an opportunity to score. And on the defensive end, I think our kids like to run. They like the transition game, and you're not going to get one if you don't rebound. So I thought that was one of our better rebounding efforts, and we got a couple over the back calls, which is good. I don't mind those.
Gino, knowing that you guys might be without Gabby, for the next couple games, how reassuring is it that Crystal had a night like she did tonight out on the court to continue to help the offense?
Well, if you look back to the beginning of the season, Crystal was probably one of the more dynamic guards in the country for the whole month of November. And those games that we played without Lou, Crystal was great. So what she did tonight is not surprising. So whether Gabby's 100% go tomorrow or she's not, I think we've got enough to compensate offensively. Defensively, that's another story. I don't know if we have enough to compensate defensively. But offensively, I think we do.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we're joined on the dais now by Tulane head coach Lisa Stockton and student athlete Colby Morgan. Coach, if you want to make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions for you and Colby.
I certainly thought our team really fought. The first half we had 14 turnovers, ended up with 17. Really competed. We talked about we won the second half. Small victories, but again, I think you got to set those goals when you play a program like Connecticut. But really proud of how my team competed, and obviously I can't say enough about Colby Morgan, and not just today, but just what she's done in her career, playing against some great competition. I think she's really shown that she's one of the best players in the nation.
Questions?
Colby, your team was right up there in the third quarter and in the fourth, 16-11 in scoring against UConn. What adjustments did Coach make in the second half?
I think at halftime, it was really focused on us and us being aggressive and not just going around the perimeter, but actually trying to attack and find open shots
And once some of my teammates started getting more aggressive, then it was easier for us to penetrate.
And turnovers. The turnovers were killing us in the first half. And 14 versus 3 gave us a chance to get some shots up.
Coach, can you talk about the rebounding advantage that Connecticut had and the impact on the game?
Well, they have a rebounding advantage when they walk on the court. But, yeah, I mean, I certainly think their second chance opportunities and things like that were significant. But, again, I think their defense and what they don't give you sometimes and where they cut off lanes or they jump in passing lanes. As a coach, I think that's what I fight against the most. Sometimes you can't control the rebounding. I think you got to box out and things like that. But it's given them live ball turnovers and things like that. I thought that was probably the biggest impact. And it's always the biggest impact when we play them.
Coach, maybe just one question. UConn, it seems like in their games, it's always that one run that might get you. What is it about those runs?
Well, I think you're right. They have tremendous runs, and I think their runs start with their defense. And, it's a matter of just getting your kids to have the composure and not doing things like turn the ball over or taking bad shots. I mean, to me, a bad shot's like a turnover. So it's trying to kind of survive those runs by just relaxing. I always tell them that when people make you want to play fast, you got to play slower. And, for us, when they went on that run, I thought we took a lot of quick shots that they got run-outs on. So their defense really sets their pace.
Colby, can you just give us comments on the end of your collegiate career, how you're feeling, kind of look back at the 4 years and tell us how you feel?
Definitely. It's been an amazing 4 years. I'm trying to tear up. But definitely I wouldn't have wanted it at any other program. Tulane has done so much for me on and off the floor. Not only being able to finish my basketball career here, but also get a degree at Tulane. It's amazing. And I'm just proud of the support that I've had throughout the 4 years.
Colby, and forgive me if somebody's already asked you about this, but you end your tournament career, at least, as the highest scoring player in the history of this tournament, at least for now. So obviously this isn't the way you want to go out, but what does that mean to you to know that you've done that over your 4 years?
It kind of definitely is the way that I wanted to go out. I did want to go out with a bang, of course. I didn't want to just settle and be content with my career being over, so I definitely want to put up a fight at the end, and I think I definitely did that. So it's an amazing accomplishment. I didn't know when I first got it, but I'm definitely proud that I had it.
For me, I'm just going to speak to that. I think for someone to have a good 4-year career is really impressive because she came in as a freshman and started as a freshman in this league. The first time we were in this league, really a step up for us as far as competition. So I think that really says a lot about just the body of work she's done for 4 years, and I think that's really tough to come in as a freshman and make a mark like that. So I think that's even more impressive.
So you probably addressed this, but you guys did win the second half. So what did you tell your players about that and, going forward?
Well, it was our goal to win each quarter at halftime. I mean, that's our motivation was, it's hard to come down from 30 points, but we've got to play like we want to win this quarter. And I think we were maybe down 1 after the third. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to win the fourth. And, I think that was a motivator for them. And so for us, maybe that kept our focus instead of looking at the scoreboard and feeling like we've got to make 8 3-pointers or something like that. So I thought our team did a nice job of just battling with small goals. And, it's a big accomplishment. I think we did a good thing there.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colby.
Thank you.